Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies. Good morning.
Hey, good
Good
morning.
morning.
Great
Hey.
morning.
All
Hey.
right. So, I'm Monica Love, financial strategist and real estate broker.
Yes, I'm Brandy Gamble. I help women make smarter money choices.
I'm Carolyn Leak, and I'm a financial strategist and to help you manage and have a solid financial foundation.
And I am Rosalind Marie, y'all, your financial wellness and birth coach. And I help you to ensure that you have a financial peace of mind from the time that you come into the earth until the time that you leave and beyond.
All right. So,
Awesome.
let's get into it, y'all, because we have a wonderful conversation that we're going to be having today. Today, we're going to be talking about how women build wealth, right?
Mm.
How women build wealth. And is that any different from the way that a man builds wealth?
Mm,
Mm.
Talk about it. Let's get into it.
yeah.
Yeah. Carolyn,
Yeah.
you had a great perspective on either how women build wealth or how they aren't building wealth. Go ahead and share what you were
I,
talking
well, I've run across some women who basically they're content. They think they have everything together, but they are living. They have a job and they're content to what they have. And I asked, well, have you planned for your retirement? Like, no. So your goal is to just be rolled out of your job in a stretcher. and
about.
and technically kind of got a confused look when I made that statement. But I think we have some women don't have they feel that they don't have any other option. They have not had that conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of making them think. I mean, most of the women I've talked to, they do have a spouse. They both are work, both have a job. But to be an entrepreneur, that was not in their mindset. So I think they're just content to what they have,
Mhm.
and they're gonna leave their job when they can't do anything other or on a stretcher.
Mm,
And there's nothing wrong with having a job, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. If that's your jam, that's your jam, right? Have a job and make sure your bills are paid. But the women that tend to just work and live for today is probably in that space that you are talking about, right? They're living for today and making sure that they're good right now, but not really living for the future.
Right. And Brandy, you always say that you help women make smarter money choices. And even in our book, y'all go get the book,
Go get the
Design
book.
Your Wealth Mindset, right? But you always say that you help them make smarter money choices. And in our book, we also mentioned that women are so busy doing life that they don't stop to really think about doing something different. And that's what we need to do is to be intentional about our retirement.
Yeah. And in the book about stopping to do something different, about really stopping to like learn how to manage your money, learn how to prepare for the future. The reason that people do the things that you described, Carolyn, is they don't have another option. They haven't been taught, right, how to do things differently. Living for today is what they've been taught. So we are always here on YouTube sharing ways to improve, right, your financial position, ways to save, ways to better budget, ways to just make smarter money choices. And the book, Design Your Wealth Mindset, is one way to get there.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I was gonna add, in addition to that, what Brandy, and Monica have shared with you, we have a guide. We actually have a workbook, right? We have a workbook called Design Your Wealth Mindset, your GPS. So it's guidelines, principles, and strategies to build that wealth mindset that we're talking about. So we're not just telling you what to do, we're showing you, we're walking alongside you and telling you, go get that workbook, y'all. You don't have any excuses. It's actually only $9.99 on Amazon. And so you want to make sure that you go and get that. But I'm going to go back to a point that I think sometimes we don't talk about often in our communities. And it really is, many of us, especially if you've grown up in a Christian household, you were really hoping to like get married and have children and have this home. But usually the man was considered to be the breadwinner, right?
Mhm.
We are definitely shifting through a
Mhm.
new generation where the wife or the woman might be the breadwinner. And I
Mhm.
don't know that we have started to condition ourselves, or what we say, be intentional with
Mhm.
setting ourselves up for success financially. Because sometimes as women, I'm going to say to myself, I love to shop. I like to look good. We're going to make sure the hair is done and the makeup is done. We talk about that in the book as well, talking about your beauty budget. But we also, as Brandy mentioned, we give you a spending plan so that you can put strategies in place to get there. Okay.
Mhm.
That is right. That
Mhm.
is right. Yeah. Looking good is good, but when you're living good, when you got money in the bank and you are preparing for the future, that's really what it's all about. So,
Yeah.
definitely you will find strategies, concepts, you will find principles and guidelines to help you through that in the book.
Yeah. And that's how you leverage what you already have. Most people say, well, I don't go to a financial professional because I don't have the money for that. Well, actually, that's not accurate because 9 out of 10 times what you already have, there are strategies where you can take that and make it work for you as hard as you've been working for it. Right?
Mhm. It is true. You got to leverage what you have. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
make it, yeah, make it work. And we do give strategies there. One way to make it work is creating that spending plan,
Yeah.
making sure that first you're paying yourself first. I know a lot of people, that concept is like, well, how do I pay myself before I pay my bills? But if you don't save on the front end, what you'll find is that you won't save at all because everything becomes priority over saving typically, right? So put that spending plan in place, pay yourself first, and make
Mhm.
sure that you're living within your means so that you are able to prepare for that future.
For
Yeah.
sure. You can kind of look at a long-term strategy, right? Because sometimes we think, oh, I don't have more. I don't have more than I need now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe you don't. But as Brandy said, you want to look at those throughout the year. Many of us get some kind of increase, right? So if you're working a job, usually you get an increase in your job. If you don't, you might want to look for another job. But I'm just saying, but we can all relate to usually getting like a tax return, right?
Mhm.
Many of us, if you are working a 9 to 5, you also get a 401k. So there are certain things that you definitely to ask yourself. One, making sure that you have that spending plan in place. If you don't, we can help you. We have a tool for you to do that. But also, when you do get a raise or an additional amount of money, are you just going to go out and get, them cute little shoes that you've been waiting on? You
Right.
can actually use that money to put it inside of a high yield savings account, for example, right? There are specific places, there are specific resources that you can incorporate so that you can start putting yourself in a better place financial. And that's what we mean when we say designing your wealth mindset, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's about how are you thinking about that increase, right? Are you thinking about it as, whoa, I got some extra money, right? Or are you thinking about it like, oh, I got some extra money. Let me get this working so that I can make more money with it. That's the wealth mindset that Rosalind's referring to. Yeah.
Right. Right. And we really do have to fix one another's crowns, as we like to call it. We have to help one another out because some things that we just don't think about, we just don't think about. So I've been in the financial world for about almost 4 years now. The way that I came into learning about finances and getting into the business for myself is that I was working in corporate America and I wanted to one day retire. And I figured that would be in the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, I think it was.
Mhm.
And in order to do that, I wanted to make sure that I was making wise decisions. I didn't know what those decisions were. I didn't know if I had made wise decisions or not. I had a 401k, and that's what they told me to do, right? So my friend introduced me to Brandy. And when I met Brandy, Brandy started telling me what were some options that I could do. And these were things that I had never heard of. They're a little too intense or too extensive, I should say, to get into on this broadcast, but they were some very like user-friendly strategies that were just like aha moments. And I'm like,
Mhm.
you know what? Not only do I want to do this for myself, mind you, I was still working in corporate America. I said to her, I want to teach this to other people. I want to help other people to get to know this too. So I joined Brandy in business, and she began to teach me, and along with some other folks that are in business. And I began to learn because I was hungry to find out more, right?
Yeah.
And so learning the information is part of the freaking battle, because now I can not only help Monica out, and I love me some Monica child, so I'm gonna help her out. And there's some other ladies that are in my life who I also wanted to help out, and I've done that, and I'm doing that.
Mhm.
Yep.
So don't neglect yourself or your friends and family, is my point.
Mhm.
So true, Monica. Isn't it about sharing? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, if we did more of that in our community, just
Yeah.
sharing the knowledge that we have, not just from a financial standpoint, from a real estate standpoint, right? From a business standpoint, just sharing. We share about what shoes to go buy and when we
Yeah.
got that sale and where you go find that. But if we
Yeah.
could share more of this kind of information, it would be so amazing. We would be a much better community for it.
We
Yeah,
really would.
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
are not secret agents.
Um, Sometimes, and I'm going to speak to this part of it because, again, this is another part of the story that we don't dive into enough. But I think it's important to understand where you are. And we talk about your money story. We talk about, some of the origins of how you were taught about your money, right? Were you taken aside and shown in your household? Like if you grew up with your parents or your grandparents, did they take you aside and show you, right? They were using checkbooks back in the day. I still have a checkbook around here somewhere, but they were using checks, right? I would see my mom go to the grocery store and write a check, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it was the electric bill, I think it was in New Jersey, so I think it was PSC and G. I feel like that was it. And so Public Service Electric and Gas, that was the name of the company there. But I saw her write checks and put in the mail and send it, to pay those bills. Did you pay attention? I saw it, but I wasn't really taught. I saw the process of it, but I wasn't really taught. So while I saw those things being done, we still have to be taught, even if you are big old, people of older age, we still have to be taught. And so I want you to understand it's okay. You don't have to be afraid. I oftentimes will service clients. They're afraid, girl. They're afraid to show us those coins that they making. And it's like, baby, don't you want to make more? You know what I mean? Don't you want to do better? Don't you want to be able to make sure that your children have more and your grandchildren have more? Because when you leave this earth, you really want to be able to leave this earth and have made an impact, right? I want my name on some of them buildings that we see in the downtown areas, right? I don't know if I'll get there in this generation, but I'm planting the seeds now so that the future generations and my children's children will at least have the knowledge so they can begin to be able to put themselves in that wealth mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we typically, and when I say we, I mean Black and brown people typically don't come from or have a legacy or know of a legacy that we can point to. Some of us do, but most of us don't. And I had a friend of mine, her mom passed, and while we were at the services, they continued to talk about this lady's legacy. And you know what her legacy was? She had a legacy of love.
Mm,
Everybody talked about how loving this woman was. And I thought to myself during that time, I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a legacy of love? But how about having not only a legacy of love, but a legacy that's tangible? So,
mm,
Rosalind, when you talk about having your name on those buildings and stuff,
Yeah.
hunty, I am right there with you. I want something that's tangible.
yes.
And, you know, 40, 50 years from now, when I'm gone and my grandchildren are now the grandparents,
Yeah.
I want them to be able to say, well, my grandmother built this,
Mhm,
because
mhm,
I am in the process of putting together some stuff so that I could build a senior community,
Yes.
actually in Alabama. That's where I want to, that's where the land is. And that's where I'm speaking it into existence right now.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, be careful what you ask for, right? Um, be careful how you ask for what you
Mm,
want, right?
mm,
Because your name can be on a building, but is that building your building? All right, and I say that because my husband's father's name is on the building, but it is not his building. So watch what you ask for and watch how you ask for it. But absolutely having property, having money, having assets to leave behind. I mean, yeah, a legacy of love is wonderful, but when you can leave that love and leave some,
Yes. Mhm.
yeah, something that can be used, it's actually, I mean, that legacy, financial legacy, is just, it's unparalleled, because it's,
Yeah.
you can build so much, right, with what people leave behind, if you know what to do with it. And the education is so important. We got to be sure to have that education left as well.
Yeah, that's
What I was this week I was at an event and I was listening to a story, a company story, and how they came in existence in 1905, and it was talking about the legacy. And I'm looking at, they were showing a recording of seven generation. They're in seven generation going on eighth, right? Eight generation, and how they was pitching the company of, telling their employees, like, you can build, we can build this brand, and we. It wasn't about them, it was about the company, right? So if we can do that for a company, let's take a step back.
Yes.
Take the information was given to you and apply it to, how can I do that for my family? But that was not the concept. That was not the thought process. And I kind of mentioned something, and it was like, well, I never thought it like that, right?
right.
It is building a legacy brand. But what about your brand? I like what you said, Monica, and Brandy, about your father-in-law names on the building, but it's not. It's not his building, right? But building that legacy for ourselves, the company they're doing it for them. They're showing you, hey, this is what we got. We got 8th generation, but that's not yours. It's theirs. So it's time to take a step back and say, how can I get that for mine?
There's a simple concept that I remember about what Carolyn just mentioned, and it says, if you don't build your dream or your vision, you will build someone else's.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, absolutely,
any
absolutely. This is
closing
a
words,
good
ladies?
conversation. Yeah, good conversation. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank y'all, ladies. We just have to keep in mind, first of all, leveraging what we have, right? Living for today is good. It makes you feel good today, but tomorrow when you can't work, what are you going to have, right? So planning and preparing for tomorrow is so important as well. So do both, right? And do both by having a spending plan. Make sure that you leverage the exit strategy spending template. Reach out to us, ask us for a copy. We'll be sure to share that with you. We're going to probably we can put a link in the chat as well, or in the along with this video. But for sure, leverage what you have, and always think about what legacy you're leaving. I think that was an amazing add to our conversation today. What legacy are you leaving? So thanks, ladies.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Take care.
Go get the Design Your Wealth Mindset book. See ya.
And the workbook.
And the workbook. That's right.